it was posited to me in a comment section in one of my other videos that I am quote unquote mining content on Ed Piskor's name. And I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, am I really mining content? Well, number one, I'm not making any money off of this. I have no ad revenue from this. Uh, YouTube is clearly not monetized, so I'm not making a dime out of any of this. But the thing is this is what I'm seeing with articles like the Daily Mail, and I covered this briefly in my previous video on the Wikipedia deletion of Ed Piskor's name on Alex DeCampi's page, that the Daily Mail, which is a UK publication, has to operate under UK laws, especially with regards to libel. So that creates a lot of weirdness in their reporting style where they leave out certain names and information in their storytelling. But I didn't even pay attention to the headlines here. And this is why I do these videos. It isn't about not letting the man rest in peace or mining content. It's the fact that if we don't discuss this, this is the shit that gets put out there. This is the narrative that gets put out there. This is the story and what's considered news that gets put out there. If we don't combat this, then the story that takes over as the official story is steeped in lies and sensationalism. Consider this headline by the Daily Mail. Marvel comic book creator Ed Piskor, 41, took his own life after a 17-year-old accuser claimed he tried to groom her in graphic online posts. This headline alone is the reason why these videos got to be made. This is why I put the mic on and say, okay, I got to talk about this because they don't let up. These people don't let up. How can you let a man rest in peace if you're going to continue to allow lies and deceit and falsehood to continue to reign the day? If I don't make these videos, guess what? People are going to discuss Ed Piskor as, oh, he's that guy that was grooming that 17-year-old girl, and she came out and showed the sex messages. Oh, they were graphic and they were filthy and all this. Like, none of which is true, by the way. I go check out my Molly Dwyer video and my Molly Wright videos, so you can see the breakdown of the selected screenshots that Molly Dwyer put out there, as well as her own words, which add more context to the story. The headline gives you the impression here that Molly Dwyer was 17 years old when she came out and told the world, hey, this guy tried to groom me. Molly was 21 when she came out with her selected screenshots, out of context screenshots. She was 17 turned 18 while talking to Ed Piskor. That is not a child. That is an adult. And I've already discussed this in my Molly Dwyer video. But this headline creates this idea that, Ed was talking to her when she was 17, and then she just came out and put this out there while she was 17. And no, misleading headline. This is an absolutely misleading headline. And the screenshots that were put out there, in addition to her Instagram story where she broke this, there was nothing graphic about it. Again, just check out my Molly Dwyer video. You can see for yourself. There was nothing graphic about what she stated. The graphicness comes from people's interpretation of what she was saying and their own idea or their interpretation of what Ed's motivations may have been or may not have been. We don't know. We don't know what Ed's motivations were. We can guess, we can assume, but we don't know. All we know is what was put out there, and what was put out there was not graphic. It was a conversation between a series of conversations, because it was more than one communication between Ed and Molly during the course of a few years. And according to Molly, Ed was still talking to her to this day prior to his passing. So, and we don't know exactly what was put out there, and we may never know, because unless she's subpoenaed, we're never going to know. She's not going to release the whole context, because chances are it probably will implicate her even more in any act of malice. We don't know. But imagine if I don't make these videos. Imagine if I don't come out and expose this or highlight this. And by the way, Ed's sister Justine on Twitter also took this the Daily Mail to task for leaving out information and not reporting it accurately. And from what she stated, they reached out to her for comment, and She declined comment, which is fine. That's her prerogative. I mean, it's hard to talk about a lost loved one without bringing up the trauma of their passing and the stuff that's associated with it. It's not easy. So she has every prerogative to decline comment. But unfortunately, rags like the Daily Mail don't give a shit. Oh, you decline comment? Oh, that's fine. We'll just go with the story anyway. And they did. And they put this out there. And with a lot of details left out. A lot of details. It's almost like publications from the UK are unreliable. I talk about the American media being unreliable. But I think it's safe to say the Daily Mail is even more unreliable. Based on those libel laws. And again, if you need proof of how unreliable UK publications are, look at their reporting of the Adam Johnson killing by Matt Petgrave. That's all you need to know just to know how unreliable UK reporting is. But seriously, for those that think that we should drop this, for those that we should cease talking about this, what do you do when this comes out? When stuff like this comes out, you just let it go into the ether and let it seep into people's mind, the normies' minds, who in passing find out about this and say, "Oh, look, this comic book creator was talking to a 17-year-old girl. Oh, what a gross creep! What he tried to groom her, and he must have said some kind of awful, graphic things. Oh, but they don't get the whole story because we have to calm it down. We have to stop it. So the truth of a 17 turned 18-year-old woman is pushed to the side because we have a 17-year-old victim here. Graphic online posts. Oh, what were those posts? Oh, we can't show it because we have to stop talking about it. We have to pull back on it. See, when a man's name is tarnished and taken through the mud, that is an arguable case of his name not being allowed to rest in peace. Exposing the truth and showing the truth of the details and of the situation and the events that led to this unfortunate tragedy and the aftermath of publications, rags, internet bullies like Ramon Villalobos and Alex Acampi continuing on like nothing happened. That's not allowing a man to rest in peace. Continuing to drag his name in the mud like this is unacceptable. But to say, just don't address it. Just don't talk about it. Yeah, we don't talk about things. And you know what happens? The people with the desire and the motivation to talk about their narrative or their quote unquote truth, that's what gets pushed out there. And that's what becomes the acceptable story. That becomes the news. That becomes the official narrative of the situation, of the events here. And there is a lot of secrets in the comic industry, both in the mainstream and in the indie circuits. A lot of secrets, a lot of dirty dealings, a lot of things that I don't even like talking about because I don't want to sully my name or what I do with this with those conversations. This one is different because it involved a man taking his own life through slander, falsehood, and bullying online. B, because I absolutely cannot stand the whole Me Too movement. I think the Me Too movement is a sexist, anti-male, misandrous, bigoted witch hunt on men and masculinity. Too many men have had their lives destroyed or sent to an early grave because we don't want to talk about this, because we don't want to mine the content. Should I name names? Brian Banks, Steve Pagonis, Central Park 5, Emmett Till. Look, even the Bible, with the story of Joseph prior to him being thrown in jail in Egypt before the 7-year famine, even the Bible warns you that women will lie about this shit. They will lie about being assaulted. And yes, I know that there are many cases of legit assault. But for the women who are listening to this, you got to hold your sisters accountable. They're the ones that are ruining for you. They're the ones that are making it hard for men now to believe women. It isn't because men have some desire to protect legit assaulters. I'm trying not to use the other word, but it isn't because men have a desire to protect it. It's because we don't want to take innocent men and destroy their lives because you have opportunists who want to ruin men's lives and opportunities that want to destroy a man's life. If you have sons, if you have brothers, then you understand what I'm saying has weight. And Ed is not here to protect, to defend himself. So when articles like this come out, trust and believe I'm going to speak on it because it needs to be countered. That conversation has to be had. The truth has to be put out there. False information needs to be challenged and questioned. We are in a time and day right now where we're afraid to question information because if we upset the wrong people, you'll get an army of online trolls coming at you, discrediting you, slandering you, calling you all kinds of names. I mean, you've been online for as many years. You know what I'm talking about. If you ever read 1984, George Orwell's 1984, the character or the quote-unquote character of Emmanuel Goldstein, substitute Emmanuel Goldstein with any term like the Nazi or SJW or any group that has some kind of negative connotation to it. And then they'll throw it at you. That's the way of saying, oh, you're Emmanuel Goldstein. Oh, you're challenging my narrative? You're Emmanuel Goldstein. How dare you ask questions, Emmanuel Goldstein? This isn't even about right versus left anymore. This isn't about left wing and right wing. This is groups that if they don't like you and they target you to be tarnished, if you dare question the story behind that, you'll be shamed. You'll absolutely be shamed. And I can understand the fear of people not wanting to question things or not wanting to challenge the narrative because the narrative is so much more. It's en masse. There's numbers behind it. There are people that have the resources to shut you down, suppress you, even eliminate you, erase you. And again, if you have sons, if you have brothers, then you understand why this has to be challenged and why letting up is not an option. This has to be challenged. This has to be corrected. I don't care about libel laws or not offending certain people or the fear of. I mean, let's be honest. The deeper you go into this, the more people start to have a target on you. And we know what happens to internet personalities when they have targets on them. And trust me, I'm aware of the cost that I might be facing doing this. I am absolutely aware of the real life cost I could be facing doing these kind of videos. But I'm seeing what's happening in the world right now. I'm seeing where we're headed as a country, and we don't have much time left. And I don't want to go too deep into that because that's a whole other conversation. But what we can do is be responsible when discussing these things, when discussing this information, challenging what is false and questioning what is false, and not being afraid to discuss what is true and what has already been deciphered and what has already been analyzed. The day when one can, you could say, let up on the quote-unquote mining of the content, so to speak, is the day that publications like Daily Mail are held accountable and no longer publish slanderous articles like this. Because this is what will get showed up on a search engine if people wanted to find out about the situation months or years from now. They're going to look at this article and say, oh, this guy was a creep. Rather than, out of context screenshots from a conversation by an adult woman sent the man to his early grave. I mean, we have Wikipedia deleting information now. We have comic book channels that aren't even talking about this because the trivial matters of the day are taking over. And I'm sorry if some people think I should be covering other topics, but this is just important for so many reasons. Absolutely so many reasons. For so many reasons, this is important. And going over the timeline of events and look at all the information that's been put out there, and you see how deep this runs and how big the story is. And when you think it can't happen to you, it can. And I've already seen so many instances of men in the comic book sphere engaging in DMs with women, and almost nothing good comes out of it. Yeah, you may get paid for some work, but I guarantee you there's more stuff associated with it, and it's never good when it comes out. And again, I refer you to go back to my first Ed Piskor video, the tragedy of Ed Piskor. in which I stated, unless this woman is your wife or a family member, you shouldn't be DMing these women. Nothing good comes out of that. It's not worth your life. It's not worth your career. Unless, of course, it involves your career. Unless it's a business transaction, but keep it business. Don't get further than that. That's a whole other conversation. I'm gonna derail it if I go into that one, but yeah, no. How about those of you that think I should let up? How about those of you take articles like the Daily Mail to task? Take them to task. Take this narrative to task. A man cannot rest in peace if people are going to continue lying about him, or they're going to continue to tarnish his name with already debunked information. This is already debunked. Molly Dwyer was not a child. To continue to say she was a child is malicious and slanderous. She was an adult, a consenting adult. When you apply that fact, that truth, not a truth, the truth, then this Daily Mail article headline is even more misleading and irresponsible. So, and I wonder, how does the libel law not work in this case? Oh, I know why, because the man is not alive to defend his name. So at that point, it's okay to libel a man because he's not around. That's how the libel laws work. As long as they're not alive, you can say whatever shit you want and not worry about a lawsuit because he ain't here to sue for us. It's all a tool to weaponize a narrative and to weaponize one side of things. And it's ridiculous. It's garbage, absolute garbage. And I don't understand. Well, I do understand. I just hold hope that we could turn around from this and start holding these publications accountable. But I don't see that. I think they're too big to be held accountable by us little guys. Well, I mean, I don't know what else I can say on this. I really don't. I think, again, like I don't wake up in the morning and say, hey, what's my next Ed Piskor video going to be? I wake up and say, hopefully I don't have to make another video. Hopefully these videos, the videos I've done are enough to give you all the information to see the situation for what it is and to use your critical thinking skills to know when somebody's going to put out a narrative that's false and contrary to what's already been debunked or what's already proven to be true, and apply it for yourselves and for your friends and colleagues so that we don't get a repeat of this tragedy. But then something like this happens, you get this information and it's like, well, here we go. I got to talk about this because this is another side of this situation, another side of the story, another lesson that we have to learn, which is that these articles, these publications are not your allies. They are not interested in reporting facts or the truth. I mean, if UK libel laws are this restrictive to publications like the Daily Mail, then you cannot trust them to report the news accurately. But this is the articles that get passed around. They get passed around, and people read this. The normies read this, and they're saying, "Oh wow, what a creep this guy is." And the more this gets passed around, the more there's a need for it to be debunked. But we can't do that if we have to tone it down, or if we have to stop with these videos, stop discussing this, stop sharing this, stop debunking this nonsense. And I guess you can tell I woke up feeling a certain way because I don't like feeling bad. I don't like feeling negative. I really don't. There's a few cartoonist K-pop videos I got to check out because I want to feel and absorb the positivity of comics. I want to feel and absorb the creative process, the art behind it. I love art. I love comics. I don't like what it is today. What it is today is pure shit. But the art form itself is still beautiful. It is still, you can just still do so much with it. You know, and there's a case to be made about whether you can still get it physically, if you can still support physical media, or as a creator you just got to go digital because that's the way. There's still arguments for physical media because people will buy good money for physical media. But if the content with it is shit, they're not going to buy it. Heck, I have people that are buying the DVD, the Japanese DVD of Godzilla -1, the DVD Blu-ray package. So if the movie's good or if the book is good, they'll buy it. They'll buy the physical copy of it. There is no substitute for holding a physical book in your hand and reading it and just admiring its presentation. And that's the kind of thing that I want to be inspired by. I want to have that motivate me to creating content, beautiful content like comic books. My book Road Warrior Drake, my plan for that is 3 graphic novels that's going to tell the whole story of the character's arc. And then after that, give it a year or two where maybe I start doing short story, I guess floppies, if you will, but with self-contained stories that chronicle events during the time period of those 3 graphic novels. But that being said, when the conversation becomes something like this, it is a dark cloud in comics. And there are many dark clouds in comics right now, both in the mainstream and in the independent circuit. Those dark clouds exist. How do we balance dealing with that while enjoying the medium that someone like Ed Piskor loved and dissected and himself was a contributor to? How do you balance that? That remains to be seen. All I can tell you is I'm just one man, and I'm doing what I can between doing these videos and producing content that you can enjoy, if you choose to enjoy it. If not, and all you get out of my channel is these videos, then I hope these videos are teaching you something and helping you to know how to dissect falsehood and sensationalism. And also, at the end of the day, protect your sons, protect your brothers, and yes, protect your daughters too, because your daughters are being given a lot of misinformation that's leading them to a path of destruction. So yeah, protect your children, son and daughters. Thank you all and have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Take care.